Hey folks, it's Rod with Pow Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, and interviews. Also home to the best MJ community. Today is Wednesday, November 8th, and in this video we're going to dive into Canopy Growth. We're going to take a look at their Q2 2024 earnings forecast. So we'll do a quick preview and we'll look at what the analysts are expecting. And we'll take a look at the chart and what to expect in terms of price action in the days, weeks, months ahead. Spoiler alert though, it is pretty choppy at the moment. And at this point, it's going to be a gamble like most earnings reports usually are. But we'll give you the estimates and we'll see what the numbers bring tomorrow. Before we get to all of that and more, make sure to smash the like. It helps support me in the channel. Doesn't cost you anything. I would appreciate it very much. Love each and every one of you who have supported me along the way. Also did a video recently, about a few hours ago, regarding Ohio. They approved adult use and recreational legalization in the state, so that became the 24th state to do so. If you haven't seen that, I highly encourage you to check that out. Going to be a multi-billion-dollar market, and then today was also the hearing for legalization in Florida to see whether or not adult use and recreational will appear on the 2024 ballot. So big day for MJ, big week for MJ. We also have Trulieve earnings coming up tomorrow. We have GTII today, Green Thumb, and then tomorrow we have Canopy as well. We have Trulieve and we have Aurora as well, and then SNDL coming up on Monday. So we've got some heavy hitters here over the next few days and over the next week or so. Earnings season kicking off. We've got, like I said, Ohio passed and approved it, and then we could see Florida at some point in the next couple of months announce whether or not it's going to be on the ballot, and then we'll see whether or not I think there's a very high chance that it's going to get passed and then enacted over the next year or so. And Florida is going to be an absolute banger and pivotal market in U.S. legalization. But before we get to it, make sure to smash the like, help support me in the channel. Doesn't cost you anything. If you're new, you can subscribe, all that good stuff. You'll be notified on any future videos or whenever I go live. Also, make sure to give Pow Group a follow on X, which was previously Twitter. The handle for that is @GroupPow. Going to be using that as my platform of choice going forward. So Canopy Growth set to report second quarter fiscal 2024 financial results on November 9th, so tomorrow, and that will be after market close. And then following the second quarter fiscal year 2024 financial results, Canopy Growth will host an audio webcast as well with CEO David Klein and Judy Hong, the CFO, at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And the webcast information can be accessed here. And then in terms of analyst estimates, you can see in terms of Canadian dollars, they're expecting 73.44 million and then negative 0.1636 for EPS earnings per share. So a pretty big decrease from last quarter's revenue. So they were forecasting 90.1. It's really just been on a straight decline. Next quarter, they're expecting a slight increase though. So expecting the trend to go the other way, but they haven't really been that accurate, because we had 117, 101, 87, and been going down for a few quarters, but then we had a big beat last quarter at 108.73. And like I said, still only expecting 90 million last quarter, and had a huge beat, and now expecting 73 million. But one thing that has been really hindering the company in adding and mounting to the losses was the BioSteel. And then we know that BioSteel recently received creditor protection as well. So that might take a couple of quarters before we really start to see, cutting their losses, so to speak. No pun intended, but we should start to see, in my opinion, their numbers improve. And specifically with regards to, the loss and earnings per share, that should start to trend back to the positive direction, or at least better than how it's been trending, because it's been atrocious. You can see here negative 0.47, 54, negative 1.28, and then last quarter negative 0.07. So a huge improvement, and that will likely continue to be the case and trend going forward, like I said, now that BioSteel has received creditor protection. But in terms of US estimates, the estimate is negative 0.116 USD EPS, and then for revenue, 54.129 million. So again, very low for a company that was valued at over 20 billion not too long ago. But right now, we'll take a look at the chart. There's not really that much to be bullish on at the moment. It's definitely leaning bearish, but it's a pretty big mixed bag at the moment. And I wish I could come on here and tell you that I was confident it was going in one direction, but that's not really what charting or technical analysis is all about. We were talking about this in the Power Group private community today when I did my private live streams for private members. When we're looking at charting and technical analysis, it's all about probabilities and confluence. So, for example, when I do my technical analysis, there's a few indicators, there's a few patterns, there's a few signals that I look at that I trust and that I know have a very high chance of playing out. So if these 10 indicators and patterns and signals that I like, and I use each and every day, and they're plugged into my charts, right? So you've probably seen it on my analysis. I use the daily moving averages, I use the weekly moving averages, and then I use the weekly MACD and the stochastic. Then I look at the weekly EMA 12 and 26 bull crosses, which haven't happened since November of 2020 in the run-up to Dems taking control of the Senate. Then we had the bear cross, and we haven't seen a bull cross of those weekly EMAs. We're getting close, but it could be a couple of weeks out yet. And then we need monthly uptrends to confirm as well, right? So all of these things are pointing, and then you get other patterns, right, where you get inverse head and shoulders, like bearish reversal head and shoulders, at the top of an uptrend. At the bottom of a downtrend, you see an inverse head and shoulders. So if you say, for example, you have a inverse head and shoulders, and you have a weekly EMA 12 and 26 bull cross, and a monthly uptrend confirming, and a golden cross, and weekly moving averages bull crosses, right? The more confluence we have, the more confident we are in a certain direction happening. And right now, it's a pretty big mixed bag at the moment. We're forming monthly higher lows. We could form a monthly uptrend with a higher low, and we need a higher high, but we're a long ways away before we even start the monthly bounce. Before we start the monthly bounce, we have to break 81 cents. And then in order to confirm the monthly uptrend from here, we'd have to break $1.92, which is more than likely going to take some massive catalyst, which could be the DEA coming back and accepting the recommendation to Schedule 3 by HHS. That could happen. We could see safer banking. We could see, Florida on the ballot, adult use on the ballot for 2024. There could be some unforeseen news, right? Like Organogram the other day had $124 million injected from British American Tobacco. So there could be some unforeseen catalysts or news events that potentially could happen as well that we don't see coming. But there's enough catalysts on the horizon that we can see coming, and then rescheduling being the biggest one, obviously, and that can't be overstated. Like, that is a massive, massive win for this industry if that happens. And that's more than likely going to end this multi-year bear market and potentially start a new multi-year bull market all on its own, right? If we get rid of 280E and then we see uplisting to the NYSE and the NASDAQ, it's just going to be an absolute, frenzy when it comes, and there's just going to be mania everywhere, right? And that's when euphoria and the buyers will be entering back into the space, right? And short sellers will just get roasted. But right now, there's no major clear direction. We're just looking for monthly uptrends to confirm. We're forming the higher low now. And then on the weekly time frame, we still need to see that weekly EMA 12 and 26 bull cross. We still need the golden cross with the 50 getting close to the 200. It's not too far away. We have the 50 at 76 cents USD and the 200 day at 115 USD. So, we're still like 40 cents or so away before those cross. And then generally, even when they do cross, it could be a couple months before we really start to see the price momentum pick up to the upside. So in my opinion, it's at least a couple of months away before we can really start to see some massive upside. And you got to keep in mind that we still have tax loss selling into the end of the year, right? I think the last day of tax loss selling is December 27th, because it takes about 3 days to settle. And then we also have MJ BizCon coming up at the end of the month, and then into the beginning of December. So interesting timing, but again, I think this tax loss selling is going to be an interesting dynamic as well. So I think we could potentially be seeing an end of year rally, but I think we're really going to start to see some euphoria and some massive upside leading into the new year. And that's likely going to be after, Canadians get their TFSA contribution. I'm certainly looking forward to that, to add another $6,500 tax-free money into my TFSA, and that grows tax-free. And then, like I said, tax loss selling, get that out of the way over the next couple of months. MJ BizCon, something to look forward to if we get DEA response to HHS's recommendation, the MJ Act for review here in Canada. We know OGen, I just did a video on that, the latest producer to close its doors, Fire and Flower, all of these companies that are, just going under and going out of business or going insolvent. It's more than likely going to entice and to encourage the federal government to start to make some drastic changes, and for the better, right? So tons of Germany coming online, right? You got Ohio, you got Florida, You could see legalization of medical at the federal level in the U.S., uplisting of the NYSE and the NASDAQ safe. You got rescheduling. There's a lot to look forward to. And like I said, into the end of the year here, if we can just get over this next couple of months, tax loss selling, but we should see a pretty interesting end of year rally, in my opinion. The broader market's looking like we could see an end of year rally as well. So at the moment, it's a pretty big mixed bag, but we are at risk of a daily downtrend. So key support is going to be 55 cents on CGC. If we lose that on CGC, we could be heading back down to that 50 cents psychological, and then 47.5 cents is key monthly support. So I'd be watching, like I said, 55 cents, then 50, then 47. But yeah, right now it's not, it's not very clear, and we could still see an EMA 12 and 26 bull cross on the daily time frame. But if we lose 55 cents, that confirms a daily downtrend with a high, low, lower high, and lower low. And then at that point, we would zoom out to the weekly, look for weekly consolidation to begin. And yeah, it's not looking great at the moment. So there's some bullish indicators, right? We're still forming a monthly high or low, and we could potentially be confirming a monthly uptrend. We could see a golden cross soon. We could see a weekly EMA 12 and 26 bull cross, but it's still a ways away. And right now we could see a daily downtrend confirm. But yeah, right now, a lot of the indicators in the chart is very choppy at the moment. There's no real clear direction on where we could be going from here. But yeah, at this point, you just look for, if you're looking for a swing trade, if you're looking for a day trade, then you want to wait for the trade to come to you, right? This isn't the kind of chart you want to trade. You don't want to just, jump in and hope for the best, right? You want to let the trade come to you right now, and we're just not seeing any clear trade coming to us. Maybe if we lose 55 cents, you could short it, and then, if we start to see a break of the high of last week, so 67 cents is key resistance. If we break 67 cents, we've got a lack of resistance up to $1.92. So you could maybe look to enter if we break 67 cents, go bullish there on a swing trade. The stop below the low there at 47, but that's that's pretty far stop loss. So a little bit more risk to reward, but again, let the trade come to you. And right now, it's definitely a gamble leading into this earnings. So I can't really say to what direction I would be expecting, because it would just be pulling it out of my what. And like I said, I'm not in the business of calling up or down. I'm just in the business of reading the charts and looking at the most likely scenario and seeing what the charts are saying and what the most likelihood and the highest probability outcome is of playing out, right? And right now it's pretty choppy. It could go either way. So like I said, it's definitely a gamble. And right now, if you're looking for a trade, CGC may not be the most clearest day trade or swing trade at the moment. Just let the trade come to you. But right now, if you're looking for the long term, if you're looking for entries long term, there was news, like I said, Ohio did approve the legalization measure, and acreage has a big footprint in Ohio, and Canopy could acquire acreage once federally permissible. And they also have a stake in TerraSend. So once U.S. legalization momentum starts to pick up and we see rescheduling and then dropping of 280E, a lot of these investments are likely going to pay huge dividends in the future, right? So there's lots to look forward to long term. And if you're looking long term, you definitely can't go wrong at these prices, in my opinion. Anything below $1 really on CGC, if you're looking long term, I think this company is definitely going to stand the test of time, and the risk versus reward is definitely favoring reward. But like I said, not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. So do your own research, and like I said, it's pretty choppy at the moment. So we'll just hope for the best. We'll see what GTI brings. We'll see what Truly brings tomorrow morning, and then we'll see what Aurora and CGC can muster after hours, and then we'll see if we get any updates with regards to other initiatives and catalysts. And yeah, at the moment, it's definitely heating up in the space, and prospect of U.S. legalization is at all-time high. I've seen a poll that like 70% of congressional members are supporting it, and a large group of that is Republican. So again, we're starting to see legalization, support for legalization at an all-time high. Just prices are near all-time lows. So we're seeing that disconnect there. But the market is a little bit irrational at the moment, and the market, we know, can stay irrational longer than we can stay solvent a lot of the times. And it's just a matter of time before we start to trend back the other way. All right, going to end it there. It's Rod with Power Group. Thanks again for joining us in the Pursuit of Wealth. Let me know in the comments below what you think. We're going to see a bullish reaction, bearish reaction to earnings. Again, I'm not in the business of predictions. I like to look at the chart and see what the most likely scenario is and see what Confluence is saying. And right now, there's no real clear confluence or message from the charts. But if I had to put my finger on it, I would say we're more than likely going to see a down day. And that just comes after the S&P 500 is definitely due for some daily consolidation and very little support nearby on the daily time frame. So I would say down is the direction. All right, have a great night, and we'll see you again on the next video.